Okay. And we're back again. We just can't seem to get enough of this live stream. Bill likes it because he doesn't have to do all the editing that he normally has to do with the videos. So it works for him. We talked about in one of the last videos about the fact that BBC had to issue an apology and actually fired someone for the way they twisted President Trump's words on January 6th. And today there is CNN has issued sort of a clarification of President Trump's lack of involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. And I think that's important. Now, I am a person who likes proper grammar, but I'm going to read this as they stated it. We want to be clear. Trump didn't receive or send any messages. He has not been accused of any wrongdoing with Epstein or Maxwell. And that is very important. And CNN is covering their, you know what, because they do not want to be sued. Because right now, President Trump has announced that he is going to sue BBC.
That is really an amazing statement by CNN. There's never been such a statement, such an admission of wrongdoing against the Trump or the Trump administration. It's amazing.
Well, one of the things that CNN and et cetera have done is they pulled out some text messages or messages from, what was her name, Virginia Guthrie, who is
very good,
no longer with us. And she had testified that President Trump was never untoward, never did anything, never made her even feel uncomfortable. You know, Ghislaine Maxwell had the same testimony, but the way they twisted the words in these messages, it made it sound like, you know, that he was there, he was involved, whatever. So that's why they've had to correct this. But I will say that it has also come out recently that one of the members of Congress is a woman whose name, I'm sorry, I don't remember, was actually texting Jeffrey Epstein himself while he was in prison during a congressional hearing because he was coaching her on the questions to ask. He was feeding her information during this congressional hearing about this stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking a member of Congress had the phone number of Jeffrey Epstein to even be texting him.
That's amazing. I've never heard that before.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And
we need to know that woman's name.
I know. And I could look it up and I'll have it next time. I looked at it, but it wasn't like AOC or one of those. It was somebody with whom I'm not that familiar. But the fact that they would do that. And then, of course, they don't make a big deal about the released text messages from Jeffrey Epstein talking about the fact that Hillary Clinton was having an affair with Vince Foster at the time of his suicide. No, they don't bother to say anything about that. That just didn't happen. But when it comes to President Trump,
there's all kinds of good stuff on that topic. You can get me down that, wander down that. For example, there were fibers from Hillary's carpeting on Vince Foster's body.
Exactly right. And, you know, so there is a lot there, but there's nothing where it comes to President Trump that's actually there. That's why they have to keep making this stuff up. And one of the things somebody said early on was if President Trump had been involved with all this stuff on Epstein and et cetera, don't you know the Democrats would have used that in 2016?
Absolutely.
I mean, and there's all kinds of proof that Epstein absolutely hated President Trump because he's the only one who wouldn't, you know, on whom he had no dirt. And he said to his prison mate that they tried to get dirt on Trump from Epstein and he didn't have any, so he couldn't give him any, but he wanted some. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. We don't really like to talk about the Epstein files because it's just all this stuff, but I felt like we had to mention some of these things.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. One is your family members at Thanksgiving are going to have heard, oh, no, he wasn't involved with Jeffrey Epstein. They hated each other. And there's documentation to prove that. And, so all of that stuff is not true. And I think it's important to know the truth. One of the things that has come out fairly recently, Jesse Waters has done such a good job in exposing, and having Tulsi Gabbard was on not long ago, exposing the fact that she found documentation that was hidden in a vault, had been hidden for almost 10 years on the Russia collusion delusion. And I'm sure some of you have heard about this, but this is what they do. They have this is not the first vault that we've heard about. There was a secret room in the FBI. There's a secret closet in the White House. I would not be surprised, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to, but I would not be surprised if the demolition that's happening right now in where are they putting the ballroom?
In the East Room.
In the East Room.
Which is the only big room in the White House. I've been in there many times.
And I'm just saying, they're breaking through those walls. Lord only knows what they might find there. I wouldn't be surprised if some dead bodies didn't come rolling out. I'm sorry.
I don't know about that. If I was going to hide something, I wouldn't hide it there. I'd hide it across, just west of there, on the other side of the White House, in the executive office building, because it's big.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's honestly, you're probably right. All that better than I do, because I've never been there.
But the point is Trump's not demolishing it to hide anything. Right. Beth was just speculating that maybe they might find something. If they found something, Trump might release it. He might not. He might be so tired of this that he just wants to move on and, fix nations from killing each other, et cetera, et cetera.
But I want to go back to the Tulsi Gabbard. If you haven't had a chance, I don't know, Fox News.
Well, I'll play it at some point. I'll put it up after this. It's really, really good. And General Flynn put it up on his channel, Jesse Waters' piece up on his channel. And he wouldn't have done that did he not 100% approve of it. That it is excellent.
It is very well done. It's very well thought out, but it also reminds me of, we lived through this. Devin Nunes was doing this investigation.
Right.
Lee Smith wrote that book, The Plot Against the President, which became, I guess you called it kind of a documentary, but I guess they made a movie out of it. It's really, actually, in my opinion, it's very well done. I've watched it several times. It's called The Plot Against the President, and it covers a lot of this stuff. Devin Nunes was one of the lead. Kash Patel was his lead investigator on all of this, where they exposed, and it was probably their work that Tulsi Gabbard found hidden in this vault, wherever the vault was. And, I just remember Devin Nunes beating his head against a brick wall, trying to get cooperation from none other than Paul Ryan. And Paul Ryan was very reluctant to even allow them to present their paper of evidence, which they did. And right behind them, right behind Devin Nunes, here comes, I think it was Adam Schiff, with his own stupid paper that was filled with lies from John Brennan and James Clapper and Obama and others. And that's exactly what this piece, we really have to put that Jesse Waters piece up, because that's exactly what happened. And I remember it at the time. They allowed Devin to bring forth his evidence, which was true. Then they had idiot Schiff, who was another one who's involved in the mortgage fraud.
The bottom line is, we were right all along. Nunes was right all along, because we were just using Nunes's information at that time. And these other people did nothing but treason against the United States. The whole anti-Trump movement rises to the level of treason, and they need to be prosecuted. I mean, just for history's sake, it has to be done.
Absolutely must be done. And as you said, just for history's sake, but for justice's sake, for all of our sakes, we need this to happen. And, we were talking earlier, and I asked you what you thought about Pam Bondi. And I have to be honest, we're both sort of, we're not sure.
If it would have been me or Beth at the helm of this, we'd already have prosecutions underway and congressional hearings underway, publicly displayed like the Watergate Committee did, to try to prove to everyone exactly what had happened.
Well, exactly
What are you
right.
doing there? What are you looking at?
Chatting, the chat box.
Oh, sorry. I'm not supposed to be talking. I'm supposed to be manning the chat box.
That's not true. He can read better than I can. So I just noticed that we had some comment. Thank you all for jumping in. Yeah, we greatly appreciate it. But, there's also just recently, they leaked some information out, and one of these House members came out with this leaked information that they stole. And they do the same thing all the time. They act as if they have a whistleblower, and they don't. They stole information from, the leak from somewhere, and then they pretend it was a whistleblower, but it was them. They're lying. I tell you, we do have a lot of corruption. We were talking last time. Are there any good comments or anything you want to
yeah, they're all good comments. So that somebody is accusing us of being earthly angels. No, but we have spent an awful large percentage of our lives doing this, and at what cost?
Well, but thank you for that. That's a very sweet comment. And I did want to comment. Somebody talked about the clutter behind us last time, and this is Bill's office, so he's responsible, and he has cleaned it up a little bit. This is not our house.
Beth's house, which is over there, does not look this way. It looks like a regular house, all cleaned up and beautiful.
He won't let me touch.
I've always been too cluttery. Cluttery is if you look anywhere around in this room, you'll see lots of clutter. Sorry about that, but we ain't got time to do everything.
He likes things out where he can see them, where he can find them. So that's what that is. But I appreciate you exonerating me on that. We were talking last time about dead people voting, and that really is, somebody questioned that. There really is a report out of Michigan that dead people actually voted in person, and obviously not the actual dead person, but somebody with their information went to the polling place pretending to be this person who had been dead. Nobody checked it, verified it, and they were able to vote. But, it might be the same 146,000 people that they found receiving SNAP benefits who were dead. They uncovered 146,000 dead people receiving SNAP benefits. Now, obviously, their family members or friends or somebody is receiving these SNAP benefits, and probably these same people are voting. These are the same people who are dead people who are voting.
Which just brings up the whole thing again. The recent election in Virginia, in New Jersey, etc. That only proves one thing to me. They still control the machines. The voting machines are still in their control, and they're being manipulated exactly the way they want them. And this has got to be cleaned up before the midterm election.
It absolutely, it's yes, we need to go back to what President Trump keeps saying, and you've been saying for years: one-day voting, paper ballots, count the votes that night. It used to be that way.
I used to be a Democrat, and I was a Democrat to the point where I would be the guy sitting in the voting area all day, watching what's going on and reporting any voting infractions or anything like that into headquarters, which was manned by a fleet of lawyers, and they would immediately jump on something. And that's just the way the Democrats did it back then. And as soon as I saw that first voting machine appear in front of me in the voting polls, I went, that's trouble. And that's exactly the way it's turned out.
That you're exactly right. And I do know that at a while back, some time ago, all the Democrats were crying for the voting machines to be removed. They were saying they're unreliable. You can't depend on them. I remember Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, several of them were talking about that. And then suddenly in the 2020 elections, all of a sudden, Oh, the voting
machines were
machines
magically accurate.
There was nothing wrong with it. I remember seeing demonstrations of how the voting machines would flip votes.
Right.
And I found this. I wanted to just read this headline because this is the kind of thing these people do all the time, and it just irritates the life out of me. Prison staffers were fired after stealing Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney's client email. Now, client the attorney-client privilege emails and funneling them to none other than Jamie Raskin, who then leaked the stolen material to the media under a fake whistleblower label. This is what they do and have been doing for a very long time. These people need to go. I don't know how we're going to get rid of them.
They need to be prosecuted, each and every one of them. Anytime you can prove the slightest taint of treasonous activity, it's got to be called out. They've got to be prosecuted, because anything that's not prosecuted will reoccur.
Well, one of the things that Tulsi Gabbard mentioned when she was talking to Jesse Waters was the fact that if Putin had really wanted Trump to win, he would have released the dirt he had on Hillary, that he had a lot of dirt on Hillary, and he didn't release the dirt on Hillary. Well, if you're trying to get Trump to win, you release the dirt. Well, here's what I want to say. President Putin, if you're listening, now would be a good time to release all the dirt you have on Hillary. We would like to know what it is. Just saying. There's no election, so I guess he has nothing to win or lose at this point, but wouldn't you like to see the dirt that he has on her? I'd like to see the dirt he has on all these people, because I'm sure he's got it.
They've got it on Vince Foster as well. The Vince Foster death. There's just so much stuff. We've been on this since before the beginning, obviously, and it's amazing. Beth can keep this mental clutter under control better than I can, but every once in a while I remember something and can spew it forth. That's about the situation with me at this point.
Well, no, you remember a lot of stuff. The problem is the stuff you remember is from years ago. 5 minutes ago, not so much, but all of the Money Masters information, all of that information, it's amazing how much stuff you can go through. At our age, you sit there and you think, wow, we have seen a lot between us. He's seen a lot more than I have. I love to remind him of that. So. Thanks. So
I'm not gone yet. I'm not done yet, but it's getting closer.
Oh, not time yet. Do you want to see if there's any more comments that we need to look at before we sign off?
Jim UK, it's my first time on your live stream. Well, welcome to the truth department. He says I'm clean but cluttery myself. Well, good. If you spend all your time cleaning, you're not going to get a whole lot else done.
There is somebody who said they liked to see a person with a messy desk because it made them feel like that person was really busy doing so many things they didn't have time to clean their desk. I don't know. My pride wanted to clarify that point, I guess.
It's okay.
So,
well, yeah. it seems like we're sputtering down to a close here. So
we greatly appreciate all of you coming on and listening to us. And again, as we said, the only set time we have really is Wednesday at noon. Otherwise, one or the other or both of us will jump on whenever we think we have something.
Yeah, this is the future for me because it requires no pre and after work. You just do it. So this is the way we want to do it going forward. So just every so often, we're just going to come on and spew whatever we know and hope for the best. Thankfully, such spewing actually is recorded and stays there forever, unless we get another YouTube situation where but anyway, hopefully this will work. Yep. Thanks.
Okay. God bless America. God bless President Trump, and God bless all of you.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Good job.